We begin reading from the book of the prophet Daniel in today's first reading. We're all familiar with Daniel's story. He's an outstanding character in the Old Testament. The situation was that Antiochus IV began a terrible persecution of the people, and they were in great distress. And God raised up Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah for a special work of his. Daniel was an ordinary person. He's not the author of the book, but he's the hero of the book. He's an ordinary person. He has no special intellectual qualities. He has no military defense behind him. He's a simple, ordinary, humble man. But he's someone who is completely and totally trusting in God. There was no way that he was going to go against the facets of his religion, which had certain dietary restrictions. And so when the king gathered all of these young men who were special qualities around him to be part of his court, Daniel was chosen as one of them. And the king wanted them to be well prepared to learn their language, his language, and wanted to become a part of their pagan culture. Daniel wanted to resist that. So he asked the chief chamberlain, as we read in the reading, not to feed them from the king's table with all of this wine and special foods, because it was not in their culture, in the religious culture. The chamberlain was afraid, but he gave Daniel his wish, and for 10 days they ate only vegetables and water. Doesn't sound too appetizing, does it? But at the same time, their trust in God was that he would take care of them. And of course, as the story goes on, they ended up being four of the best prepared young men. They were healthy, they were strong, they had intelligence, they had all the qualities that the king needed and wanted. And so we see that God was preparing Daniel for something. What we learn from it is that we need to be like him. We need to be humble before God and realize that we are nothing without God. And if we can place our lives in total trust into his hands, we can be confident that physically and spiritually, God will take care of us. That's not easy to do. But when we do it, there's a confidence that comes deep within us that God's with me and I will be able to go through whatever I'm going through because he will care for me no matter what. And it's that kind of virtue, I guess you want to call it, that the reading is proposing for us, that we are dependent upon God for all things. In this Holy Eucharist, he cares for us physically and he cares for us spiritually, giving us the food of his own body and blood. What better food could we have to nourish us each day and to do each day what the Lord calls us to do? It's why we're here this morning, isn't it? Because we believe we need this daily portion of the body and blood of Christ to strengthen us and help us. And so with that kind of confidence, let us go forward to just today, placing our lives in the Lord's hands and asking him to inspire us, instruct us, and lead us. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.